Friday, Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals gets to seek a trade. Now, I think I heard, don't quote me on this, I was listening, and I think I heard somebody say he got permission to seek a trade last year, and I guess it didn't happen. So, I mean, you all know what they say about the Cincinnati Browns. Mike Brown is one of the worst owners. Mr. Ford had that honor. I can't really put that on Sheila. She wasn't in the game long enough, but the Fords as a collective, you know, and I'm going to talk about how he got that team pretty soon, was seen as a, one of the, some of the worst owners in the National Football League. Now, a little history on Mike Brown, he had a thing with Carson Palmer, man to retire. And then I was listening to Rod Parker speak on this on a radio show, and I like Rod Parker, met him, cool guy. Obviously, he's a Lion hater for sure. Because in that, I think it was the T. Higgins video or the St. Brown tag. I think it was the T. Higgins video, because they did 2 segments on the YouTube Fox Radio channel, and he basically said that he pointed out that the Lions was one of the 3 teams, I think, a particular year to lose money, and it's a business, and he always got to stick it to the Lions. I don't know when he can never let that go. That's my thing about, letting New Yorkers infiltrate, Detroit media. Now you start to see that change. Like ESPN even hired, Detroit beat writers. You got, I forget the dude's name, Corey. I like him a lot. So you starting to get local beat writers, and I love to see that, right? But Mike Brown, his father, I think, was one of the owners of the Browns. Was the owner of the Browns at one point, and he ended up getting the Bengals. And he's just a cheap guy. I mean, he old. My thing is, he got all that money. I mean, at this point, I don't get it. Like, what else, how many suits you got to buy? Like, at that point, you old. You should want to go push for a Super Bowl. And, it talks about Joe Burrow's possibly trying to get away from there and going into retirement. He beat up, and they not protecting him. And the worst thing they could have did was went to the Super Bowl that year. Now, Mike Brown think he ain't got to do much. Don't forget, they didn't have a practice facility similar to the Clippers for years. When Clippers was that racist owner, they didn't have a practice facility for years, y'all. It's a fact. They practiced outside without a facility for years, and they finally got a practice facility. But, they tagged T. Higgins. I mean, I'm not here to talk about that. So, Trey Hendricks, for the most part, they allowed him to seek another trade. All but 1 year, he reached double digits. All but 1 year he didn't reach double-digit sacks was when he was a non-starter. Played 13 games, 15. He was drafted out of Florida Atlantic. He'd be 31, I think, early December 4th or 5th. So every year he didn't have double-digit sacks. He wasn't a starter except for one. And 1 year he had 8 sacks in 15 games. So he started 15. Every other year it's 14 sacks, it's 13 something, whatever. The last 2 years, I think he was the sack leader last year with 17.5. The previous year, he had 17.5. I think the year before that, he had 8, but the year before that, he had like 14.5. So, he's a very consistent guy. Ran a 4.65. So, in a straight line, he's faster than Aiden Hutchinson. He's older now, but, 6'4", 6'5", 270. So, he is a really balanced defensive end, and you'd be like, man, if I remember last year, I'm not a Bengals fan, but if I remember, their defense wasn't that good. They just cheat. They trying to get rid of him, seeing what they can get for him, and maybe they, because they got to keep Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and I guess like Rod Parker said, it is a business. Nobody's in business to lose money. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Let Jesse Bates III go, who's in that conversation as one of the best safeties in football, if not the best safety in football, depending on who you ask and what metrics they're using or their preferences. But yeah, I mean, shit, do you wait around and keep trying to pry Myles Garrett away from the Browns? Or do you sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to allocate my time. Look here, Cleveland, this is my final offer. So be it, and then go allocate your time to Trey Hendricks. Now, I'll go through that. If I can get Trey Hendricks, I'm perfectly fine with that. Myles Garrett is a smidget, a year younger. His birthday sometime in December. That's what I'm doing. I'm allocating my time to Trey Hendricks. And this is my offer. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? And, you got to sign him. I mean, Max Crosby deal was 3 years, $105 million. In reality, he signed for $9.15 million or something, $91.5 million a year, guaranteed money, $35 million a year. It's higher than Justin Jefferson. So, Trey Hendrickson is going to be looking for that money, but I think it's well spent money to go get the defensive end of that caliber. I think it's well spent money to manufacture that pressure. Now, at the end of the day, you got different metrics you want to use. Obviously, you're going to use the metrics of looking in the draft and seeing what they're doing. You're going to look at guys like Josh Sweat. You're going to look in the free agency. But then again, can you get those guys? You're going to look at a guy like like Chase Young. You're going to look at alternative cheap options. That's just the fact of the matter. You're going to look at those options and say, guess what? Hey, what if I add a Chase Young and a Joey Bosa, or a Chase Young and a Khalil Mack at a good price, and I don't have to give up any resources, and we can just go that way. And at the end of the day, strength in numbers. I'm not mad at it. Probably don't have to spend 35 on them together. So you're probably going to say, well, we're going to look to go for it in strength in numbers. We're going to alleviate our pain at the edge position and get a couple guys there, and we're going to rock out. Hey, did you know Chase Young is still only 25 years old? So let's go get two of those guys and let's rock out. They both have injury history. Chase Young was injured. Was really healthy last year with New Orleans. He was healthy. So maybe, he put it all together and you might hit a lick. So, like I said before, there are options. You can mix these options, draft and trade, and at the end of the day, you would like to get the permission from Cincinnati to hash out an extension before you move for this guy. But I understand if they do, and I understand if they take alternative routes. You get it. If they take alternative routes, which is meaning, in my opinion, is free agency, the draft, and doing multiple routes, going multiple routes. My thing is, I wonder, will they completely clean house? Will they clean up that D line a little bit? Will you see Broderick Martin gone? Will you see DJ Reader gone? Will you see them move on from Levi Onwuzurike? That's what I'm interested in. Do they clean it out and just say, you know what, McNeil, Hutchinson, them are guys. We'll keep Pascal here because he's under contract. But those are guys. Those are guys. That's who we gonna build it around. Mekhi Wingo, he can be in there, but this is who we gonna build ourselves around. This audio is nice. Paint color on this one. This is who we building our shit around. All these other guys, Onwuzurike, see you later. Zadarius Smith, see you later. DJ Reader, see you later. Marcus Davenport, Ninja, don't want to see you, don't want to be you. Is that what they say? So it's a great question, but yeah, I wouldn't mind them getting Trey Hendricks. I'm heavy on that. It ain't like Myles Garrett or bust. If they can get Trey Hendricks, and it's gonna be on like hot butter popcorn. So if they go, volume, and I've talked about them going volume, I know I'm in the minority in that. We're getting up some of these value guys, these Joey Bosa's that should be on a prove it deal. Chase Young, I understand their injury history, but that's why I do a strength in numbers. But I get it. But let me know what y'all think. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Just that. Find me everywhere. You hit the link tree. You can check them other platforms out too. Peace.